fellow classic TV fans, my dear friend Kathy Garver is returning to her former home base, the San Francisco Bay Area. On April 1st, 2023, she'll be at the historic Orinda Theater to host a screening of the new award-winning film Yellowbird, in which she has a wonderful role. After the 12:30 matinee, Kathy will be available to meet all who attend. The Orinda Theater is an incredible venue with an amazing history, and it just so happens to be owned by another pal of mine, Mr. Derek Zemrat. So come see the film and hear about some of Kathy's amazing experiences on the making of Yellowbird. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podcast my dear friend, the ultra-talented Kathy Garver. Kathy!
Oh, Pat. Yeah, see, if you could see me, you could see my cheeks are red with blush for those lovely words.
Well, and that was off the cuff, too. So I must have really meant it.
Yes. You are nothing but sincere, Pat.
It's just true. You can't hide from the fact. But I was like, did I just say ultra-talented? I like that.
Oh, that's nice, yeah.
I'm going to use it for future guests, but only if they match up to your skills and ability, which I've been watching for decades.
Well, thank you. And I've been doing for decades, it seems, and more. More than decades, eons.
Well, and then, of course, definitely never show any signs of stopping. You are my Energizer Bunny.
That's right.
Very fitting.
But I'm yellow now. I'm a yellow bunny instead of a pink bunny.
Or a yellow birdie.
Or a yellow birdie. Yes, I have joined the flock.
How's that for a weak segue?
I kind of liked it.
Oh, boy. Well, Kathy, you've been working. I mean, commercial work, different series pilots, this, that, and the other. I never stop. Appearances at all these conventions and Western roundups. And again, I'm always so amazed at just how much you do. But it was great to hear that you landed a role in this film, specifically called Yellowbird. And I watched it. And I'm not lying. You were my favorite character.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It really was a repertory kind of thing, but I enjoyed playing my character, who was the mother of the main character. And he was going through some trouble. And my character has a bit of dementia. And I really drew on my mother, who had Alzheimer's for like 10 years. So there was a lot of truth to the character. And I don't want to be a spoiler, but how she did her arc and how she came about and came out for some lucid moments and was able to do what she really wanted to do all her life was something that, again, it's what I wanted to do all my life.
So you've bought the RV and you're packing up, getting ready to hit the road.
Well, not that.
Oh, okay.
Because the wheels won't fit under this house, and I'm kind of tethered to this house now. I'm never moving, actually, again in my life. I do not like the back boxes.
Right.
But we were all astounded when, I don't know why we were astounded, but the movie was put up for some film festivals, and the first one, they said, well, go on, it's nominated for Best Feature. He says, oh, well, I don't think that will go. He was telling the writer-producer, and this was Angus Benfield, who was our writer, who was our producer, and he was the star of the film, and he played my son. So Tony Jarris, who is the writer-producer, went to the Santa Monica Film Festival, and lo and behold, it won Best Feature Film. And he said, whoa, I didn't even have a speech prepared to say, thank you. And then followed like 3 other big film festivals where it was chosen as the best feature film internationally, at a Singapore one, and in Italy, and Mobig back in the United States. So it has gotten just really rave reviews and many accolades, and it's now on Amazon Prime. But we can tell all you listeners, if they're up in Northern California, or if they just want to go up to Northern California, about an appearance that I'm making April 1st. No fooling.
You beat me to it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pat. You got to get in there quick with me.
Yes. Well, gosh, we're getting right to the punch, too. Kathy's appearing at a screening at the Orinda Theater, which is owned by our mutual friend, Mr. Derek Zemrak. I've got to get his name in there. Good old Derek. And that's going to be wonderful because you'll get to talk with people. And I know you'd done some screenings where you would narrate during the film, or is this just going to be a watch and then come meet you and sign and all of that?
Yes. It's just going to be, not just, but we're going to show the film on the big screen because it will be distributed to the theaters. And so this is one of the first theaters that it's kind of like a premiere where we're showing it. So, and in the historic Orinda, the Orinda Theater is so beautiful. It's just a lovely experience just to see the theater itself. But then Yellowbird will be shown on the big screen, and then there'll be a Q&A with the audience members. And then we'll have a meet and greet where I can meet people individually and show them some of my wares for my Cissy Emporium, my 5 books or my Cissy candles, or just to say, hi, thanks for coming, and please write a fabulous review for the movie.
Yes, and it deserves it. I thought it was very charming. It was one of those where I was like, okay, this is it. This appears to be an independent film.
Well, yes, and Derek has a California Independent Festival up at the Orinda every year. So yes, it's definitely an independent film, and it is not, a super blockbuster $1 billion film.
Really, it was based on the story. Get the story out there. And if the story's good, you don't really need a lot of sets. A grocery store will do.
Yes, and an RV is not bad to stick in there too. And actually, this was written as a series first, and that's one of the reasons that it was kind of contained. And they said, well, let's do the movie first. So they switched and reversed it and did the movie. And we have the pitch for the television series now. And because it's gotten so many accolades, it's much easier for a sale for a series. It's right now, it's also on, I think I told you, Amazon Prime, and then it's on Tubi as well. So it's building a following, which is just great. And it's the people, I think, that see it care about the characters. Each character in the movie has his or her own distinct needs and personalities and how they mesh with other people, how they do not mesh with other people, and how, it all comes out.
Right. Well, the character development through the whole thing is just great because you start caring about these characters. Initially, you're like, boy, what a mess. What's going on? This guy's life is hell. Not only that, his crazy mother lives in an RV in the parking lot.
And he drives over from the RV, which is across the parking lot, to go to work at the grocery store.
Well, that's it. A true, dare I say, family affair dramedy.
Yes, and I think that is a very good description of it. Because that's actually the end line before I even associated with it. And again, I don't want to, be too much of a spoiler, but it is at Yellowbird, we're family. But
that's right.
That's the end tagline of a commercial within the movie. And so there are a lot of different elements that are going into it that set it and make it, I think, more interesting than just a straight on, script and this is what's going to happen. Because I think people are a little surprised at what happens as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's great because, like I said, it's filmed on location. But I saw a little blurb with one of the producers. I'm not sure who it was, but they were saying just finding a grocery store to film in was quite a feat.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. They did it in Redding, California, and what was nothing that happens, I don't think, in this world out of coincidence. They're all meant to happen. While we were up at the grocery store, I have a cousin that lived there that worked at one of those grocery stores. It's called, the actual name of it is the Holiday Markets, and they're up in Redding, California. And we named it for the movie. They named it Yellowbird, but they came and they watched some of the filming, and that was kind of a nice coincidence.
Yeah, I'd say. So where did the term yellowbird come from? I mean, there is no yellow bird in this film, folks. Not that I saw.
Well, there's like a caricature of a yellow bird, and that's on the grocery, because the grocery store is called Yellowbird.
Right.
And it is a little yellow bird, but that's not the significance of it. And when I'm talking to my son and trying to set him on the right track, and he's just been divorced, and he's just trying to not drink and trying to get a job. He was a successful PR person. He's a stock boy, which is fine. But so he's all over the place. So I explained to him, and we're talking. And as I say, I have a little dementia. And he says, well, you have to have a yellow bird. And he says, Yellowbird, you mean where I get the groceries? And I says, no, Olivia's shops for me now. Oh, no, Mom. What? I don't understand. He says, Yellowbird. A yellowbird is your one true love, the one person that you can't live without. And if you find that yellowbird, you're the happiest person in the world. And if you don't, you're eternally screwed.
Well, apparently I have married Big Bird.
And my bird is pretty big, too. We've been married for 42 years, so I guess I have my yellow bird.
Perfect. Well, I really loved it. I loved watching you because you're just such a great actress. And I just thought, man, she is just delightfully demented. And
well, it is a comedy.
And it's true. I mean, you
so
really...
many of them, yeah, so many of those things are just as my mother would do. Because in Alzheimer's, there are some times where you can't remember anything. You don't know where you put things. You don't know where your glasses are, your keys. I mean, I do that all the time now. And then there are these like pockets of clarity that just come out. And so I remember so vividly one time when my mother went and she got all dressed up in her nurse's outfit that she had saved. My mother was a hoarder. She saved everything. She had her nurse's outfit, and by darn, she was going to go out and she was going to put on her RN pin, and she was going to be a nurse again. And so that is like when I have that period, okay, I'm going to take my RV to Hollywood and be a big star. And those are truthful moments because they actually happen.
Oh, yeah. I was picturing it. I was like, so that's how she did it. I don't picture her.
That's like SUV.
Yeah. Yes. I was like, in an RV? Well, I don't even think they had RVs. Then it was more like they were just called campers at that point.
Right. Yes.
But I have to ask, have you ever driven anything that long before?
And no, those are really big. Those are big, really big vans and buses.
Says
and
all.
I'm like 5'1", and so I'm like watching how the steering wheel is like 3/4 of my size. But no, I haven't. But that's the truth of creation and creativity and movie making.
Well, again, it's really charming, folks. It the characters develop, and there's a couple of lines that you laugh out loud. That's great writing right there.
Yeah, well, it is. And Tony Jarris, who is the writer, he's an excellent writer. And I met him on this particular project. Now we have like 3 projects that we've put together, and one is a Christmas movie. I still have yet to do a Christmas movie, except for Hercules Saves Christmas, and Derek Zemrek, our friend, produced that. I did do Hercules, but I've never done a Hallmark movie. And I said, we've got to write like a movie that's like a Hallmark movie. So he's written that, and we have a show that is going to start out as a podcast, but this podcast is on camera. And it's starting as an on-camera podcast. And then we have a special place where it's going to land, which is a new retro network. And this new network, I'm doing 28 episodes of a new reality show. It's not a reality show per se, but I'm a host of I'll just say, because it hasn't launched yet. It doesn't launch until April 3rd, the new network. And then we'll be shooting the intros and outros, or I'm doing my hosting intro and outro. And there's a special content. And then that will be right at the end of April.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you've developed a really strong working relationship with these folks, is what you're saying.
Yes. And what a delight to have honest people who, are right on the money when they're going to have a Zoom meeting, and they follow through with things and they set things up. And it really is a delight, other than other experiences I have had in Hollywood that weren't so delightful.
Isn't that something? I mean, you expect at that level, everybody's professional, everybody's one step ahead. I just have to struggle from being one step behind. Right now, I'm treading water pretty good, I think. Thanks to you, Kathy.
Oh, well, you're a very talented fellow, and you follow through beautifully. And you stick to it, even though there's brownouts and there's audio difficulties. You're right there and you have a great personality. And I mean, we were friends at first moment that we met at that autograph convention. And I thought, well, what a nice guy. We just hit it off.
Isn't it true? I mean, again, I'll never forget walking away from you that day, because we talked for, my God, I think it was like 45 minutes. It was such a thrill. It wasn't the fact that, and yes, it was the fact that I just met Cissy, who I'd always had a crush on, but there was a connection. And I just felt, I'm going to know this lovely lady forever. And so far, so good. We're years into it, Kathy.
Yeah. I think that most people can tell when, you meet somebody, you look in their eyes, and you say, okay, I can see that person inside there. And I'm going to be friends with this person, or I'm met to know this particular person. There are some people that they're just not blank, and there's blank in their eyes. And you say, where's your insides? Where's your soul? Where's your spirit? But there are just some, and people know that, I think, right away. It's that ultra, extra spirit that lies within.
Right. And the trick is, let it out.
Yeah. And that's why we love movies and football and basketball and all those things.
Yes.
And the other things for entertainment.
Right.
Well, people can let it out by watching the Yellow Bird. And then I have another movie that will be coming out in June. That's Old Man Jackson. And that's another indie film. And we has Yellow Bird, although I was going to say Yellow Bird did not take very long to make, and we got it out there, and it was edited, and then everyone really loved it, and Amazon picked it up, boom, in a second, and it's going to these theaters. And Old Man Jackson has taken us about 2.5 years, but it's coming out in June. So some things just take longer than others.
That sounds to me like a normal schedule. I mean...
Yes. Yeah.
In general, things do take years. I mean, especially if you're not rushing. Like me, ready, fire, aim, pat. That was what they called me. It's like, wait, I'm supposed to aim this thing first? Oh,
no.
Oops. I want to get right out there. I want to do it. I'm like, you know what? Just take your time. Slow and easy wins the race.
Well, I was when I saw that All in the Family took about 8 years before it became a series. I always, harken back to that because it's saying, oh, okay, I've had this one series with the pilot for like 4 years and it hasn't been sold yet, and then another one just gets picked up like that. A lot of it's timing. It's who you know. It's when you're ready. It's what the trends are. There are a lot of factors, I think, that go into it. I have a newsletter. Have you seen my new newsletter?
No. Now, shouldn't I have? I should have. I need to be up to date. I need to know what Kathy's doing, folks. I got to know.
Well, yeah. And all your listeners, they can go to my fan page, the Facebook fan page, and get my newsletter. And it's also on my website, which, as you know, is kathygarver.com.
Yes.
Well, so I posted the newsletter on the website, not to be, self-laudatory or self-selling, but in this business, if you're quiet, you don't get a lot of attention.
That's it. Without publicity, you know what happens? Nothing. Right.
Yes.
P.T. Barnum.
Yeah, did he say that? Well, he was right.
Yeah, isn't it true? Well, again, folks, you ought to make a trip out to California. It's beautiful. It's dry, gorgeous, sunny weather.
Well, not particularly these last couple of weeks, but usually it is. But if the drought's over, at least in California, yeah, the Department of Water and Power is not going to tell me, you can only water your lawn once a week. I said, I don't think so.
Oh. I was going to say, if I hear that word drought, and I've said this, I think in the last 3 episodes I've done, if I hear that word drought again.
We've got tons and tons. What we need is water management.
Yeah.
That's what.
We haven't had it in so long, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Ventura City should be a real example for all water companies to manage their water. They have reservoir, they have underwater river that they tap. They're building another reservoir. And these the other people in California, I think they're part of the state water, and it's just not working. So,
right.
But I have some water right here that I'm drinking. But it's in a bottle, and it's alkaline.
I was going to say, I may have to join you. Folks, it's April 1st. It's not going to be a joke. There's no April foolery going on unless Derek has something planned. I'm not sure. But that's where to see it. And it's at 12:30. That's right. It's 12:30 to 3 o'clock because the movie is an hour and a half, and then the Q&A, and then the meet and greet. And as you say, April the 1st, and you can get tickets at eventbrite.com, or you can actually call the theater itself, which is the Orinda Theater in Orinda, California. But if you go to eventbrite.com and put in Yellow Bird, they'll take you to how you can get a ticket for it. Great. And of course, all listeners know that I always include all the links in the description, so you can find that stuff easily. And so with that, my gosh, I hope it's a huge turnout. Thank you again for joining me. And I'm going to publicly also thank you for hooking up Christopher Knight and Butch Patrick for this podcast. Folks, we owe that all to Kathy and her wonderful networking, and it's so appreciated. Well, thank you. We owe it to Pat, who does a great show, and I wouldn't recommend it to them if I didn't think you were a wonderful host, down to earth, just keeps it going, and it's always fun to talk with you. Well, I'm wondering why I got this cease and desist thing from Butch. Well, if you didn't have a brown out, a black out, or a pink out, Gee, Kathy, did I let you down? They're sending the FBI over here. I don't understand that. But yeah, where's the excitement, Pat? I know, exactly. Like the Oscars. Exactly. Everything's so boring, all this rain, nothing's happening. Let's cause some trouble. Right. Oh, well, thank you, dear one. Thank you. There you have it, another Retro TV Radio episode in the books. The links to buy tickets for the event in beautiful Orinda, as well as how to keep up to date with Kathy's always busy schedule, are listed in the episode's description. I'm your host, Pat McCormack, and thanks for listening to Retro TV Radio.